pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Pat and/or Roger, can you come up? Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
I had like 4 names here.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
As most of you know, Greg Silver, a longtime Kiwanian, passed about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And some of us went to the funeral, which was just beautiful. So something that his son gave in the eulogy that I'd like to share. Greg became a poet in his later years. Every issue of the Kiwanis newsletter included a poem by Greg, often on an environmental or social concern. His cryptic message when emailing to us was we hope that the family will collect those poetic meditations which, beyond literary value, teach us so much about what mattered to Greg. He was always looking forward to positivity, to helping his fellow man, to the environment, a great bird watcher, and it was always nice to come to Kiwanis and sit with him and share thoughts and ideas. And for me, he will be very well missed. Pat?
I first met Greg Silver at a bar mitzvah for a woman that was in my wedding and a fellow lawyer, Linda Canner. And even though I'm a lifelong Republican, and he knew it, he's a lifelong Democrat, and he was very, very gracious on everything. I used him as a trustee for bankruptcy and related issues. He was a great lawyer, great environmentalist, and had a great passion for Central and South America and the Mayan Indians, as did my husband. I remember the last time, you know, you get a sense of feelings, I guess, when we're our age, and I really hate being our age, but he came over to the house because my husband has Alzheimer's and dementia, and he's not doing well. And we're trying to unload a large number of pre-Columbian artifacts. And he said, I'll help you, because my husband just can't sort the papers at all. And it's driving me crazy. And so he and Rennie came over and they spent the entire day. And then we corresponded by communications, by text. And Rennie would say, well, he's taking his treatments and that. And there was, when she told me that he went into hospice, the radar went up, and I just said, this is not good. And I asked if there could be visitors and that type of thing, and they said no. But Greg Silver was one of the nicest, kindest men I ever had the pleasure of meeting. And I know he's in the Jewish version of heaven, and I hope he'll help the rest of us get in there.
Ditto to what everybody said so far. I got to know Greg really well over the last 4 years. When Shortridge came to us and said we want to restart the Key Club, Greg goes, I was in the Key Club when I was at school at Shortridge. I want to be involved. And he was. And I'll tell you, he gave some of the great talks to the kids. He'd bring Mrs. O'Bannon with him to a meeting. She'd speak, and those kids would just, their eyes were right on her listening. So it was really neat working with Greg, and I'm gonna miss him, and I know the kids will. But he always had a thought for the day, so I found one I liked, and it kind of reminded me of Greg, so I'm gonna read it. The adventure of life is to learn. The purpose of life is to grow. The nature of life is to change. The challenge of life is to overcome. The essence of life is to care. The opportunity of life is to serve. The secret of life is to dare. The spice of life is to befriend. And the beauty of life is to give. And that reminded me of Greg. Thank you.
Thank you. Greg will be missed for sure. His engagement, constant engagement with the club will be missed.
contributions can be made to Greg's memory to the Kiwanis Foundation of Indianapolis, Hebrew Congregation, Feed the Hungry, and the Amos Butler Audubon Society. There are memorial gift envelopes at the front table there in the back, so thank you. Now, I'd like to present 2026 Foundation President and 2023 Career Award recipient Eric Rowland with his 30-year Legion of Honor certificate suitable for framing. Thank you for 30 years.
I can't believe it's been 30 years.
You were 12 when you joined.
I know, exactly. I was definitely new to Indianapolis, and I got roped in, and it was one of the best decisions I
Why do
made.
people always say roped in?
Well, Austin Green grabbed me and said, "You got to come to Kiwanis."
You can't say no to Austin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. I'd also like to recognize 2 Excellence in Attendance Awards for the last club here. Mary Marsh, is she here today?
Yes.
Hi, Mary. 24 years. And Laura Holloway, 5 years.
And the best part, the free lunch.
Yeah, not only do you get a certificate suitable for framing, but you get free lunch. I mean, really, the only thing that could top that is free lunch and free valet. So. Please save the Thursday monthly on your calendars now for the Columbia Club. You can find all of our upcoming events in the events section of our website. The next meetings are March 19th with former IU Athletic Director Fred Glass and current CEO of Gleaners Food Bank. And then April 16th, lunch will be with 500 Festival CEO David Neff. So next 2 months, really excellent programs. On top of the program today, all the more reason to come downtown. We will have an interclub with Indy Northwest at New Hope, Indiana on Thursday morning, March 5th from 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. and on Zoom. Since it's Action Club Week, we'll hear about their monthly bingo to give back to New Hope and its mission to serve adults with disabilities. We are appreciative of their attendance at ABE this week, hosting the scholar from Verbuff. Last week, they welcomed the 2025 ABE Scholar and Pike graduate Jasmine Solis to speak at their meeting.
Jeff. I didn't RSVP Jeff,
Come on.
so I got this in the middle.
Please.
I apologize. Well, I did want to follow up with that to say, we're really looking forward to having all of you and more at the Interclub meeting on the 5th. We love our Action Club, and I have been talking with Rob off and on about starting an Action Club for this club. And I think we do it really well. Of course, it's easier because we're right in the same building with New Hope of Indiana. And if you don't know who they are a major force serving adults with disabilities, not just in the city, but in this whole area. They have 55 residences that they maintain that were given to them many, many years ago. Actually, the CEO spoke to us this morning, and it was a really great presentation, and we want to follow up on that. It is the Action Club is one of the, and you could speak to this, Chef, is one of the legs of the Kiwanis stool. And I think they're a couple of decades ago that Action Club was formed. But it's just a marvelous part of Kiwanis, and I would love to have everybody there to participate. It'll just be our 2 clubs, your club and my club, the Northwest Indy Club. So, thank you.
Sandy, what is your club name?
Oh, I'm sorry, on Thursday.
Oh, about half of them just checked out.
So sorry about that.
The Action Club, if you talk to Kiwanis clubs that are involved with Action Clubs, most of them will say it's one of the most important, impactful, most gratifying things that they participate in as a club. We have had an Action Club in the past. I remember last one was supported by Rob Scheibel, I think. So,
And it's rewarding beyond words, and I run the bingo, so, that's a big part of my job.
I mean, come on, bingo. Who doesn't like bingo? And there's big cash awards too, right? Isn't that what you said?
We have prize parts.
Oh,
We
okay.
have prize
I
parts.
misheard. I heard big
We have
cash
great
awards.
prizes. We have great
Everybody
prizes.
wanted to hear.
Okay, we'll have a Zoom meeting on March 12th. We're going to welcome a representative from the Men's Final Four, which is here in Indianapolis this year, from the local Men's Final Four organizing committee. Mary Bulk, talk to us
Yes.
about the upcoming social supper.
Okay, so, several people over the past few months have said, we need to go downtown and we need to go to the Slippery Noodle, which is the oldest bar in, I think, Indiana. So, 5:30 on the second, or the first Tuesday of March, we're gonna go to the Slippery Noodle. They've got blues playing, so, and it's burgers, I've never been, burgers and whatnot, simple food, but, we encourage everyone to come down to, to Indianapolis or Indiana, shoot, downtown for the social supper, in March. It'll be fun.
Okay, Mary, Wendy, please.
All right, and thank you, Kelly, for graciously giving me the right words to say here. So I want to thank everyone for their help and attendance with Abe Lincoln, especially our sponsors, Scott Harkness with Norris Kaplan Schroeder and Trent Cowles with Rockefeller Management. We had school table sponsors, Duke Haddad, Bill Murphy, Eric Rowland, Rob Schlegel. Gold table sponsor, Rich Schreiner. And on stage to help present these wonderful certificates, Lamita Steele, Tripp Lukemeyer, Laura Holloway, Jackie Clancy, Nathan Ashworth, and Scott Harkness. We also had a fantastic message to the students from Magdalena Jospovic. She's our 2005 scholar from Speedway, and she's now an immigration attorney and works with Laura Berry. Thanks. Oh, next year, February 12th, 2027, and that is actually Abe Lincoln's birthday.
Steve Farrow, girls basketball luncheon.
Well, as we all know, it's basketball season, so next Wednesday is the girls' state basketball finals luncheon. That's their practice day at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And so this will be the third year that our club is the sponsor of the luncheon, and it's right in the atrium, I guess I'd call it. Great venue. We have 5 submissions for our girls basketball scholarship that are currently being evaluated and voted on, and that'll be announced. And we're looking forward to an exciting event.
Thank you. Mark your calendars also for March 25th for the boys' lunch and Sunday, April 12th for the IHSAA Impact Awards at Colts Gridiron Hall. We're thankful for the collaboration with IHSAA. Roger, when's the next lunch at Iozzo's? By the way, if you haven't been to Iozzo's, it's delicious. And the fellowship's not bad.
No.
It's
I'm probably gonna piss you off today. We're gonna go back to Mondays. We're gonna try Monday again. We got more people that can come on Mondays and Tuesdays. So in an effort of trying to get more people there, next month we're gonna do the 4th Monday of each month from now on until we reschedule at that point. So the next one's Monday, March 23rd. Mark your calendars. Come and join us. easy lunch, easy in and out. There's a new restaurant, she's opening a new restaurant, her daughter. Right across the street from Iozzo's, it's a place called Pronto. And that'll be open maybe the end of next month. So maybe in a month or two, we'll have a luncheon there to check it out. It's a little different concept, but it should be fun and interesting. So come and join us when you can. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. That's right, I forgive you. Monday's okay. Laura Holloway, my colleague Laura's going to give us an update on Key Club.
Yeah, quick update here. It's the sort of the end of the leadership year for Key Clubs. That means that the District Leadership Conference is in 2 weeks, so next weekend after next, and we have all 4 of our Key Clubs, Arsenal Tech, Shortridge, Speedway, and Perry Meridian High School attending that and having good turnouts from each of the schools. So that's really exciting. Couple exciting scholarship announcements. So one is the Indiana District Kiwanis Scholarship is taking nominations right now, and we've already submitted names for 2 wonderful seniors. The president of Shortridge High School Key Club is Nina Goldsmith. She's being nominated, and one of the past presidents for the Perry Meridian Key Club is Zeke, and she's also being nominated. So that's really great to see, and we're expecting nominations from the other 2 Key Clubs as well. The other scholarship is actually for the International Convention, and Indiana District, in particular, our Key Clubs that we sponsor, had a significant number of applicants for the Icon Scholarship. So that just means that they're really interested in leadership, that what we're doing is really working, and hopefully they are awarded a scholarship to attend the convention as well. I think that's about it. Yeah,
Thank you, Laura. Mike Rowland is going to introduce a new friend.
A new friend?
Yes.
That's exactly right. If you remember from the last meeting a month ago, I made the announcement that the Kiwanis Club, this Kiwanis Club, we did win the Kettle Challenge this year. We're going to have that presentation here in just a moment, but I did want to introduce a new face here. Not really a new face, because he was here just 6 years ago. Major Dan Saka, he is our new General Secretary. As you know, in the Salvation Army, we transfer people around. And Major Mindy and her husband, Major Matt, have gone to Des Moines, Iowa, and we've welcomed back to Major Dan and his wife, Stephanie. And so please just join me right now in welcoming Major Dan. I just wanted him to introduce himself a little bit, and then we'll do the presentation.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for the warm and gracious welcome. As Mike said, my wife and I did serve in Indianapolis in 2017 to 2019. It was not that long. It wasn't long enough. So the Army said, hey, you get to go back. And so we're excited to be back in the Circle City. Actually, we kind of call this area home. I'm an Illinois boy. Raised in Danville, Illinois. My wife was raised in Champaign, Illinois, which is only about an hour and a half, 2 hours to the west of us. So this really does feel like coming home. My wife and I have served in the Salvation Army. This year will be 25 years Salvation Army officers, and in that time we've lived in 7 different communities, twice in Indianapolis. That rarely happens, but lightning can strike twice. And so we're excited about being here. And I'm really excited about the main reason why we're here today, and that's to say thank you to the Kiwanis Club. You have been a beautiful supporter and partner with the Salvation Army. I have some stats if I could real quick. I want to say thank you because this last year the Kiwanis Club sponsored the Salvation Army's Angel Tree with $2,500. On top of that, you did a $5,000 sponsorship for a radiothon, and that's absolutely wonderful. But then on top of that, there's more. Throughout the entire Fridays of December, at Kroger at the 71st and Binford location, you raised, is it okay to do a drum roll? Yeah. All right, here we go. $3,654.33. Give yourselves a hand. That is almost nearly $1,000 more than the Rotary Club. Now, I'm going to tell you, it pains me a little bit to say that because I just came from Omaha where I was a Rotarian. I was a terrible Rotarian, but I was a Rotarian. But to hear that my friends in the Kiwanis Club here has done such a wonderful investment, you have made a difference in the lives of children throughout central Indiana. This last Christmas, we were able to help 5,919 angels through your donations and other donations. Of those 5,919 kids, 4,156 of them were adopted by individuals and corporations. And so we want to just say thank you so much to your investment in our youth, your investment in making Indianapolis one of the greatest, let me pause and say, the greatest city to live in. So thank you very much. And I don't know who we want to present this to, but
Present it to the boss right there.
on behalf of the Salvation Army, we want to say thank you so much in all of your help in making sure that Indianapolis is the best city to live in and that we are making a difference in kids' lives. And then the coveted gold kettle trophy.
Get your heart out, Rotary. Yeah. Appreciate everybody that supports this year in and year out. I know there are some of you that ring the bell every year, and it does not go unnoticed. And it's not the hardship that it used to be. I remember standing on the corner of Illinois and Washington when it was about 2 degrees outside and thinking there's got to be a better way. Well, those days are gone. So next year, if you can participate, we'd love to have you. I imagine it'll be at the Kroger, 71st and Binford again. So thank you, and thank you for the recognition. Appreciate it. Now, our speaker, I'd like to welcome Daniel Bennett, Director of Museum Experience in the Benjamin Harrison Presidential Site, and Molly Bosser, or is it Booser? Or am I getting it all wrong?
Boser.
Boser.
Very Americanized, yes.
Russell and Penny Fortune POTUS Presidential Fellow. That's a
It's
mouthful.
quite a title.
The Russell Penny Fortune.
Welcome, Molly and Daniel.
Excellent. All righty, everybody. Oh, yes, thank you so much. So yeah, Molly, I think you're gonna love some of the visuals she has to show you, especially as it relates to her Kiwanis grant. And so I want to give people just a little bit of background about Harrison and the presidential site. I assume everyone's been to the Benjamin Harrison presidential site, right? Excellent. So if you haven't been, or if you need a refresher, it is considered to be one of the best preserved presidential homes in the entire country. We are a small team, but we pack a powerful punch. 11,000 items in our collection, over 80% of which were owned by the president and his family and used in the home itself. It is a 10,000 square foot Italianate mansion. They're at 13th and Delaware if you have not been. It is quite a famous family as well. We have 2 presidents and a founding father in the family. So that is Benjamin Harrison, of course, our 23rd president, William Henry Harrison, our 9th president, and even William Henry's father, Benjamin V, is a signer of the Declaration of Independence and governor of Virginia during the Revolution. So we have really some amazing artifacts even from that time. If you come now, we have a wonderful exhibit out in the Welcome Center that showcases things. Like we have a 1697 land grant on display right now. So not often you get to go around Indiana and see items from the 1600s, but you do over at Benjamin Harrison's home. So what I love too is, again, if you go through the home, we are technically the #1 rated site on TripAdvisor too. That's out of 370 other cultural organizations. So I'm the director of
More
museum.
than the Children's Museum?
More, and that's funny you say that because that's where I came from to the Benjamin Harrison presidential site. So I can say more than the Children's Museum. Now, for being real accurate, they use 2 different algorithms. So ours is the one purely.
I'll
ours is the one purely based on reviews, which I would actually take over the one based on volume. So yeah, out of 370 things, we are number one, which is incredible. And I want to pass this around too. If you guys, we are the first presidential site to work with DK, the travel company. If you've heard of them, they make wonderful travel books, and we are, again, the first presidential site to work with them. And this was quite an undertaking of about 1.5 years. So pass this around. I would love people to see that. I'm not trying to sell it to you, I promise. I just, again, that's a great bit of evidence of kind of the work going on there. And again, a little bit more about our organization. Of course, he lived a life of service, and obviously this is the premier service organization in the entire city. Even sitting here for the last half hour, that is incredibly clear. So Benjamin Harrison, again, volunteered in the Civil War. If I have any Civil War experts, he mustered his own regiment, recruits 1,000 men from his law practice here in the city, enlists himself, trains them himself, goes up to Chicago for about 2 or 3 months to study, train, hire his own drill sergeant, and then return and take charge of the 70th Indiana. So if we're talking Civil War, if you know some of your Civil War battles, I'm talking Chattanooga, Chickamauga, Peachtree Creek, New Hope Church, Resaca, Kennesaw, Atlanta, Coulsdale. Oh my goodness, all the way to the sea and over 70 battles and skirmishes. And again, it's a great example, I think, of the kind of person he was, the kind of leader he was as well. He had no obligation to go and join that. And again, we really try and live that in our organization here. Same with being a career politician and a lawyer. He's one of the most successful lawyers in the entire country and goes on to do incredible things in office. And I think he's really underappreciated, even by us Hoosiers. So if I can even rattle off just a couple things for you. If you like Teddy Roosevelt, you like conservation, you must love our Benjamin Harrison. Harrison creates the law Teddy Roosevelt uses to become so famous for the National Park System. National Forest Reserve Act is a Benjamin Harrison law. He creates the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th national parks, so that's Yosemite, Sequoia, and Kings Canyon. He is the first president to advocate for African American voting rights, first president to openly campaign on it. He has our first black delegate, Frederick Douglass, sent to Haiti. He has the first female staff member in the White House. That's not a cook or a maid, but an actual administrative staff member. First black chef in the White House is Dolly Johnson. We do a whole learning series about her and kind of her, all of her cooking, her recipes, things like that. And it's just, yeah, he's an incredibly progressive person. And again, I always try and go out and tell people we should be very proud of our Benjamin Harrison because he did quite a bit that still affects us today. So Sherman Antitrust Act, all of that great stuff. So again, I show you his service really then to pivot into what Kiwanis has done for us. They've given us a $5,000 grant to start essentially a volunteer in a civics boot camp. So for high school and college kids, why is volunteering important? How do you find your why? What is important to you and how do you engage in that in the city? So we are actively working on that. The pilot's going to be at the end of the summer here. And I just really want to emphasize that without Kiwanis, that could not be possible. We get no federal funding, we get no state funding. The funding that comes to the presidential side is by you taking tours, you attending events, grants, and donations. So when I say this literally wouldn't have happened without Kiwanis, I can genuinely say that. Because again, that will allow us to, again, buy lunches for the students, to pay speaker fees, things like that. So again, this is just, for us, a really big deal. We try and be one of the most civically engaged presidential sites in the entire country. And again, if you come visit us, I really think that you can see that pretty clearly. So I just wanted to be here especially to thank Kiwanis because again, without you guys, there are many things, even Molly has her own Kiwanis grant she's going to talk about as well, and there are many initiatives that just simply couldn't happen at the presidential site. So I just wanted to thank you all so much. And yeah, I think Molly's going to have a couple things to show you, which are really cool. So some initiatives that we're working on. And yeah, I'm really excited for you guys to see it. And if you have any questions too, I'm trying to limit, I've given a 3-hour tour of the presidential site, so I'm trying to not go all the way off into that world. So forgive me, if you have other questions, I would love to hear them though. It is quite literally my favorite topic to talk about. So thank you guys very much.
And by the way, the three-hour tour is worth every minute. If you ever get a chance to take the Daniel tour, take the Daniel tour. He is one of the most exceptional storytellers we have in our realm there at the presidential site. So thank you so much again for the warm welcome and for having us on behalf of the Benjamin Harrison Presidential Site. Again, my name is Molly, and I'm the Russell and Penny Fortune Project Coda's Presidential Fellow, which is to say I work in the education department. And I work with anywhere from preschoolers to college students and adults that come and visit and do our educational programming at the Presidential Site. But what I'm really excited to share with you today relates to one of our newest initiatives, Civics Squared. Now, our education department prides itself on having an offering for every grade level, meeting academic offerings for anything that a teacher might be interested in. And since not every single student can walk through our doors, which is of course what we'd love to be able to provide for them if they have the opportunity, one of our most innovative kind of new projects that we've been tackling is using a really amazing 3D scan that was given to us or programmed for us by the Indiana University informatics team that actually covers every single inch of our 10,000 square foot building, 16 rooms, the whole thing, and is able to kind of take that and share that with students anywhere in the world, theoretically. And so Civics Squared was designed to be a virtual field trip experience that puts you as close as possible to all of the artifacts, to, again, nearly 11,000 artifacts in our museum, and gives them kind of an up and close and personal experience with history if they cannot come in person. And so thanks to Kiwanis, we were able to deliver our kind of pilot version of this program to hundreds of students, namely to many students from Franklin Central High School here in Indianapolis. And just to give you kind of a preview of what that looks like when students are able to take this field trip, again, it really is as close as possible to what the actual experience of the museum is. And our trained docents and storytellers are able to get really, really close to all these artifacts and tell stories that we normally wouldn't tell on a school field trip in the museum, and is able to kind of give us opportunities to delve deeper into primary sources like letters and diary entries and things like that from the collection that eventually we'll be able to kind of program more towards specific social studies classes, Indiana history classes, things like that. So it's really just a very exceptional model of the museum that we're able to use for all kinds of different things. And of course, our Franklin Central High School friends took their Hoosier Hysteria students on this field trip in celebration of their America 250 event that they were putting on at the high school. And so even inspired them to kind of design their own worksheet to kind of catch all the different Benjamin Harrison things like Daniel mentioned, of course, starting the tradition of saying the Pledge of Allegiance, starting the tradition of flying an American flag in front of public schools and in front of all government buildings, and all kinds of things like that that relate to students every single day that they may not have been aware of. So this was really an exceptional experience to be able to provide for these students. They were able to kind of pause and ask questions in the house wherever curiosity struck. And it was just a really, really amazing way to kind of give them a field trip that wouldn't have been possible if not for that support from Kiwanis. So we thank you very much for that. And the other amazing thing about this type of program is that it creates a really great connector to all the other opportunities and engagement that we can provide from the museum. So not only, again, do we have our field trips in person and virtual, and our academic offerings that go from anywhere from pre-K, early learning Indiana standards, all the way through, again, high school standards. Benjamin Harrison is, by the way, the most mentioned historical figure in all of the Indiana academic standards and social studies. So very, very proud of that. But again, it provides us the opportunity to introduce students to other offerings that we have. Namely, you may have heard of the Future Presidents of America program. We're very, very proud of this initiative. Our VP of Education started this program about 10 years ago, wanting to provide an opportunity for young leaders to get involved and to see themselves in people like Benjamin Harrison and to go on and take those examples of leadership into their own lives. And so every summer, we host a cohort of 20 young leaders at the Benjamin Harrison Presidential Site, ages 13 to 16. And what they get is a really, really personally and kind of developed experience learning things like public speaking and learning about how to network with other people and learning how to have kind of a plated meal if they go as part of a future business opportunity or leadership opportunity to a meal like this. And kind of making it comfortable for them to step into those shoes of somebody like a president and understanding that these people started out just like you and they eventually became really great emblems of our community. And so not only do we offer this week-long museum camp at the Benjamin Harrison Presidential Site, we have also started to develop this program at several other presidential museums and libraries across the country. And so we're now up to 5 museums that deliver this Future Presidents of America program, including the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum in Springfield, Illinois, including the Woodrow Wilson Museum in Staunton, Virginia, including the Hermitage, Andrew Jackson's home in Nashville, Tennessee, and also including the Gerald Ford Museum in Grand Rapids, Michigan, as well as a partnership through GVSU, Grand Valley State University, with their Presidential Studies program. So really, really proud of this opportunity that we have for students. again, it really becomes a huge deal for them in many cases. One of the graduates of this program became the first ever high school intern at the Indiana prosecutors, and the Indianapolis prosecutor's office, and just becomes a really great way for them to meet local leaders, whether they be business leaders, whether they be political leaders, or people who have held all kinds of different leadership roles in Indianapolis. And so we've had students from Texas and California and several other places come to Indianapolis just for this program every year. And we're right now developing kind of a national alumni network of all the students that have gone through this program to kind of give them even more opportunities to not only meet each other and kind of engage with each other, but also to offer more examples of leadership to the incoming future presidents of America participants. So, yes, did you have a question?
I just wanted to comment that Future Presidents was started with a Kiwanis grant too.
Well, we again can demonstrate how impactful that's been all these years later. We've had hundreds of students go through this program, and we maintain very, very close connections to many of them, and many of them have come back to our museum to serve as volunteers, to serve as interns, committee members. So we couldn't be more grateful that this program has kind of developed the way that it has. It's really one of our greatest assets as an organization. So that kind of brings me to another program that we can kind of connect in from things like Civic Squared, kind of a different opportunity, more of a virtual opportunity, kind of like that program was and has been for students, which is our Project POTUS initiative. Now, this program sort of developed out of the need to have a quote-unquote pandemic-proof option for students to engage with our museum, and really was derived from the idea that we didn't have really any middle school specific programming at the Benjamin Harrison Presidential Site other than maybe our regular tours of the presidential site. And so we conceived of this idea to have a national presidential history contest for middle school students to create 1 minute or less videos about the American presidents using primary sources and exceptional secondary sources. And so we've been running this program since 2021, namely with a few Indianapolis schools that became kind of our pilot partners, including St. Richard's Episcopal, including a school in Bloomington, Indiana, Bachelor Middle School. And what grew from there has been a really, really amazing to see program. We've had thousands of students participate in this at this point. It runs annually from Election Day to President's Day, and so that's the submission window for students to send us videos. And we then take those videos and judge them and kind of come out with one winner per president of the United States. And so the idea is that once we have all these student winners, they can become peer educators to other middle school students and teach them about the presidents, teach them about different perspectives on the presidency and the humans that are behind that leadership role, to again kind of serve as another example of how anybody can become an amazing leader in their community. Anybody can rise to that national stage or a local stage and become that kind of leader. So I'll let the students speak for themselves in a minute, but I will note, since we have started this for middle school, we never expected to expand the program, but we saw such a great interest in high school being able to participate in this program that we actually have started now, as of this past year, our Project POTUS 24 Hours edition of the program. And so high schoolers now will have the opportunity to submit a 90-second or less video about one day in the life of one of the presidents of the United States. Could be from childhood, it could be during their career experience prior to the presidency, could be during the administration, could be after the administration. Of course, we can think of presidents that have famous moments before and after their years served in that office. And so we have launched that program and are now taking submissions. We're judging all those right now. We just closed the program on President's Day, so we have our whole team kind of reviewing and screening all these videos that have come in. But we do have, again, our high school program now. And the other audience that this program serves is you. Now, not only as people that can go to our website and view all these amazing projects from middle and high school students after the conclusion of the contest, but also as people who can be involved as what we call micro-volunteers as part of our citizen jury. So a national group of volunteers, 80 plus people last year from 30-some states that all combined together to create our citizen jury that view and evaluate these videos for a total time commitment of about 2 hours every spring. And so kind of logging on digitally and kind of viewing these just as you would maybe do like a National History Day judging session or something along those lines. But without further ado, I'm going to stop talking and let our grand prize winner from 2024 go ahead and roll through. This is a student from Red Lion, Pennsylvania, his project was about Harry Truman.
Harry Truman, the 33rd President of the U.S. Before his presidency, Truman fought in World War I as a captain in field artillery, tried to run a haberdashery, got married, became a judge, and later became a senator. He was selected as vice president for Franklin Roosevelt and was thrown into the presidential position when Roosevelt died. He stated that, "I felt like the moon, the stars, and all the planets had fallen on me." Not too long into his presidency, Truman attended the Potsdam Conference to figure out how to rebuild Germany and restore peace in the country. Later, after Japan rejected surrender, Truman dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki and ended World War II. 2 years later, during the Cold War, he issued the Truman Doctrine to fly in materials to Turkey and Greece and protect them from communism. Back in the US, Truman expanded Social Security, which benefited the Old Age and Survivors Program. When the Korean War had started, Truman sent troops to help fight. This made him very unpopular since the US was tired and needed a break from World War II. Towards the end of his second term, he decided not to run for president again due to his loss of popularity. In the end, Truman was very loyal, honest, and had confidence in his decisions.
So that was our middle school grand prize winner from a few years ago. What I haven't mentioned, by the way, is that there are prizes involved in this, and so we give away scholarships to the students that have won for each of the presidents, ranging from the $100 award for every single one of the presidents to the $500 grand prize. And so this student was one of our grand prize winners. For the high school program, we have instituted awards of $250 per president in honor of the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and a grand prize of up to $1,500 for the high school students this year. And so that'll be this is the first year we've run that program, so we're really looking forward to being able to hand out those awards as well. And here's just kind of a sample of what the high school videos are looking like so far. We've had really an amazing dichotomy of students who have chosen to go hour by hour on some of the most momentous days in history, like the Pearl Harbor bombing, like this video with Franklin Delano Roosevelt, to students who have examined things like John Quincy Adams' support of a canal project across the United States and kind of changes to infrastructure over time, and things like how the Sherman Antitrust Act enabled presidents to break up monopolies such as the United States Steel Corporation under William Howard Taft. So all kinds of really amazing takes on this idea of looking at one day and how much it impacted American history.
Even though peace talks with Japan were breaking down, Franklin Delano Roosevelt did not expect Sunday, December 7th, 1941 to be a date which would live in infamy. FDR's only scheduled appointment that day was with the Chinese ambassador to discuss the situation in Japan. At 1:47, Frank Knox called FDR to share the report that he had received. Air raid on Pearl Harbor. This is no drill. FDR started spreading the news to his cabinet. The lack of accurate information made it difficult to discern the extent of the attack, and it was impossible to fact-check the reports coming in. FDR considered Hitler to be the real threat, and false reports of Nazi aircraft at Pearl seemed to confirm this. However, FDR believed that he could not get a swift declaration of war if he asked for war on Germany, as the public opinion did not support war in the Atlantic. At 4:15, FDR dictated the first draft of his address that would ask for a declaration of war against Japan. At 6:30, Eleanor Roosevelt gave a rousing Pearl Harbor address over the radio. FDR met with his cabinet at 8:30 to discuss the events of the day and to plan the best course of action. They also discussed the proper length of FDR's address that was to be given to Congress the next day. Following the cabinet meeting, FDR met with the congressional leaders, though he was much less open with them. At 12:30, FDR retired to bed. December 8th sees one of the greatest presidential speeches in United States history, and America's declaration of war on Japan.
And again, our grand jury is another really amazing part of the program, being able to show some really amazing civic and media leaders across the country, these grand prize winners. The idea is that the citizen jury, our national group of volunteers, judges and evaluates until we have a top 10 Project POTUS group. And then we show those top 10 videos to our national panel, our grand jury, including Paula Kerger, the president and CEO of PBS, including Brian Lamb, founder and former CEO of C-SPAN, including Mo Rocca, CBS correspondent, author, historian, and podcaster. Obituaries is one of my personal favorites, including Christina Schutt, who is, of course, the president and CEO of the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum, has a great historical perspective to lend on all these videos. Kate Anderson Brower, we're adding this here to our grand jury for the first time, has written some really incredible books. Namely, she's one of the only people who's had access to the Elizabeth Taylor estate, and so she's written a really amazing biography of Elizabeth Taylor, along with all kinds of really great books about the people that work in the White House and are kind of there to make the president and do all the things that maybe happen behind the scenes. So we had her as our speaker series speaker this past year, and she's been willing to be part of that, as well as Barbara Perry, who's head of presidential studies at the Miller Center, which is really one of the foremost sites for presidential scholarship in the country. So again, having this perspective from all these amazing individuals to kind of help us select the best and the brightest of the Project POTUS winners really ensures that those videos are going to be great for educating their peers, and can kind of be a really great thing to share for those students' portfolios going forward. And of course, if anyone is interested in being part of our citizen jury, we are still recruiting. Our middle school judging window is coming up here in about a week or so, but again, it only takes about 2 hours of your time. So if you or anybody that you know is a presidential history buff or wants to watch one of those Lego, again, videos about Harry Truman, it really is quite a lot of fun. We have some raps that we've seen this year come in. There's a Monroe rap that we watched this morning. All kinds of really kind of fun, creative takes on presidential history and examples of great leadership. So that's kind of all I have for you guys, but thank you again for having us. And any questions we're capable of tackling.
Can you talk about the upgrade to the home a few years back?
Oh, absolutely.
I toured it after that. It was just
Yes, I'd be happy to. So, yeah, we did a $6.8 million capital campaign that started, I literally think the second month of COVID, I think it was. So, and people were so generous and believed in our mission and what we were doing that we even had to raise that goal. So the final goal ended up being $6.8 million, and that extra money allowed us to do some really cool things. So now all of the wallpaper, minus 2 rooms in the home, are the exact wallpaper the First Lady designed her home with. That was a fascinating process by itself. She was an absolute artist. So again, you'll see some of her art in that book if you've seen it. She was incredible. She did oil paintings, watercolors, but China was her favorite style of painting. So she does create the White House China collection. When they move in, it was not the palatial estate that we see it as now. So many old presidents' China was squirreled away up in the attic. She brought it down, categorized it, organized it, and really was kind of the White House's first curator. So we wanted, of course, to live up to her expectation of her home and the art in it. So we worked with Bradbury and Bradbury, which is a wonderful company out in California. What was fascinating to us is we sent them historical photographs of the rooms, and some of them were still in print. And within a week, we had the First Lady's chosen wallpaper, which is incredible. So, we did some of the more, less sexy things. We fixed all the plaster, tuck-pointed chimneys, fixed the mortar on the outside. But again, it really allowed us to bring kind of a new space inside. And as well, we built an incredible outdoor space. So there's a portico down there now with these beautiful glass etchings and information about Harrison and the family. It's a great place for school groups to be able to be dropped off now. Before, if you ever saw that, you were just kind of dropped off into a grassy field. And obviously, if you ever worked with kids before, the second they see daylight, they go running. So to actually have a place to have them unload, learn a little bit about what they're going to see in the actual home itself before you go in, for us was a huge deal. So that renovation allowed us to transform the outside, the inside, and again, do some of those structural things that we must do in a now, this year, 151-year-old residence of the President Benjamin Harrison. So if you contributed to that, if you were involved in any way, we always really appreciate you. But yeah, that was a big game changer for us and was quite the COVID project, let me tell you. Question?
What are you guys doing, if anything, for the 4th of July?
Yeah.
Particular declaration. And the second question, I heard on National Public Radio, they were talking about various presidents and their special dietary things, like
Yeah, absolutely.
So I didn't know if you had access to that, but I'm sure the Harrisons had something in there.
Oh yeah, so I have not seen that, but I can certainly tell you what his diet preferences were, absolutely. To answer your first question, July 4th, every single year we do an ice cream social. So naturally we'll have a little bit more elements for America 250.
Really the biggest things I think this year for America 250 are going to be the exhibits that we have open throughout the duration of the year. There's some things in the exhibits that we've never seen before as staff members that are really exciting. So certainly please try to come visit those. There's one that will be focusing on presidential signatures. We have about 20 at least in our collections, and then with contributions from former Governor Holcomb and from other people kind of involved with the organization. We have original presidential signatures from every single one of the presidents, if not every single one, really close. And then also our exhibit in the Welcome Center, which talks about being there at the founding and how the family history of Benjamin Harrison presidential site stretches back to the 1600s with Benjamin Harrison V, who is of course the signer of the Declaration of Independence. So again, lots of really cool artifacts to be seen there. We'll be doing all kinds of events just throughout the summer.
Yeah.
I will say we're doing our first ever in-person awards event for the Project POTUS winners this year, and so we'll invite all the students that participated to come, and we'll do a special screening. And Benjamin Harrison had a front porch campaign, so we'll be doing front porch interviews with all the students and things like that.
Yep.
So there's a lot of events going on throughout the year. I think that rather than maybe having one big thing, we have lots of little things going on. So definitely keep up with that and come visit us.
Celebrating throughout the year, certainly. And then to answer your dietary question, so forgive me if you're one of these people, he loved oysters. He would eat them every single day. We found outside near the Rose Garden deposits of thousands of oyster shells. So when he was in Georgia during the Civil War, he fell in love with oysters, and then when he had the means to bring even the better ones in from the East Coast, and certainly, I'm sure as you all know, ice was not cheap in the Victorian era, so that was quite an expensive thing for him. He loved cherry pie especially, so kind of an odd combo, and then they love soups. If you look at so it's perfect, we had a mushroom soup. If you look at a lot of their banquets in the White House, there's like 2 or 3 or 4 courses that always include soup. So they were not the flashiest pair, I'll be honest with you, especially with the diet, but I don't know, to me he was such a humble, introverted person, and it just fits him so perfectly. But oysters were his favorite food. That's kind of, that's certainly one of the odder ones.
Take a look at what Richard Nixon liked.
Well, he's an interesting fellow in a lot of ways, in my opinion. So yeah, and again, I think to be and desire to be the president, you must have some eccentricities in you anyway. So that comes out in the food, certainly. Yes, sir.
I'm always curious about where you store artifacts
Oh, yeah.
that
Absolutely.
are on display.
Yep.
Do you have a special place that you?
You'll be astonished by this answer. No. We are one of the rare house museums in the entire country, all for really, I'd say about 95% of all of our 11,000 items are stored within the home himself. So as I do tours and talk to groups, what I always say is my one big criticism of Benjamin Harrison is he didn't know we'd use his home as a museum afterwards. And so they do have one guest bedroom that we believe would have been where Caroline painted, so it wasn't a lived-in bedroom, that we have essentially closed off to the public. That has become pure museum storage. And then up in the ballroom, we've created a display that also very smartly, it's a zigzag wall with displays and things like that. And behind that, there's quite a lot of items as well as using their general storage that they use in the Victorian era too.
So it's all there on the site?
It is pretty much all there on the site, which is incredible, but it also makes it a heck of a lot easier to rotate things out, to build out those special exhibits, and to loan things to our partners across the country. Question?
Yeah. Do you still have the first Fridays where you come in and there's a program based on one artifact?
Yes, absolutely.
The second part of my question is, what's the extent of your outreach? So I'm getting emails from the Lincoln site in Illinois that they're giving a presentation Saturday in Carmel. And I just wondered, are they competing with you or collaborating with you? And do you do the same thing? Do you go to Illinois and give this presentation?
Yeah, so we're actually, it's so funny you say that. Literally, one of their directors just reached out to bring their entire volunteer corps to take a tour at the presidential site. So I imagine we will, knowing Chris, our volunteer and relationship manager, we will reciprocate that and go to them. But as Molly mentioned, I mean, they're really our main partner, truly. I think they were one of the first ones to take up FPA.
I think they were the first partner.
Yeah, they were the first. So they've supported us big time. And even when this is a little known fact, the presidential sites every 2 years all get together and meet and talk. It's, again, you wouldn't think, but yeah, so it's in DC, and then on the off 2 years, it's out at another presidential site, then DC, and then back out. So you always find us with the Lincoln people as well. So yeah, we're very close to them, absolutely, and I'm sure we'll be back over there to bring our volunteers there. But I missed, I think, the first part of your question.
Oh, the coffee with the curator.
Oh, and coffee with the
We still do
curator. So
coffee
yeah,
with
the
curator
first
every month.
Friday of every month. So our curator will bring out, again, sometimes even a 6.5-year employee hasn't seen some of these artifacts, and she'll pull out things on on more niche topics. Like I can remember there was one about his time in the Adirondacks. So tons of interesting things about
Residents
that.
in sporting. We have had
Yep.
menus before come out for White House dining experiences. We have all kinds of different topics.
So yeah, that's the first Friday of every month. It literally starts at 8:30, goes to 9, so 15 minutes of chit-chat time, 15 minutes of program, and then Charlie, our CEO, always says we have you out the door at 9 and ready for anything else you need to do. So yeah, please, again, if you're unable to come for a big full tour or anything like that, even just stopping by on that first Friday, you'll see a lot of cool stuff, I promise. Question, if I have time.
The Columbia Club again is a marching society.
Absolutely.
Talk a bit about that.
Yeah. So, and of course, you see the wonderful portrait downstairs there. But yeah, he, of course, had massive campaigns here in Indianapolis. He did not go out and speak. If you wanted to hear the president, you came to Indianapolis, and he didn't even have the front porch at that time. It was literally just 3 or 4 steps up to the door. And I love that then about 3 years after his presidency, he's like, I probably should have that front porch at some point. So the front porch then comes in afterwards. But he had a massive marching society. And again, their hub was here at the Columbia Club. So we even have right now on display one of their torches. So they would carry these big motifs of Harrison on these torches. There's a bell right underneath where you would light the torch, and they would quite literally walk through Indianapolis and they would ring their bells and you would learn. I mean, it was old school campaigning. So in the same way that we have wonderful pictures of this 10 by 10 foot campaign ball that people rolled literally from the front door of the White House to 13th and Delaware Street.
My favorite historic photograph.
So-
That's literally where Get the Ball Rolling came from,
Yeah.
is from that campaign strategy.
So yes, the Marching Society, quite huge, and that is, again, why he is a big main fixture at the Columbia Club and why we were obviously excited this was where your meeting was held too. So, but yeah, there's a lot of connections from the Columbia Club to Benjamin Harrison.
Yeah, you have a relationship with Tom Houston at all? I know he has a collection, incredible collection.
Yeah, so our curator has mentioned that name before. I'm not as familiar with items we have or things we've talked about with him, but I have heard Jennifer Capps, our curator, mention that name many times, so I'd be shocked if there's not some sort of connection in that way. But yeah, I know he has an incredible collection, and I mean, again, there's tons of wonderful cartoons that people collect from that time period. So those political cartoons are just incredible if you get a chance to look at them. So, and I've probably stepped over my time, but again, thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate you having us.
Molly and Daniel, it's okay, you went over, interesting stuff. Appreciate you joining us, and in honor of you joining us.
Oh!
Daniel and Molly, you both get certificates
I
suitable
love it.
For framing.
Brilliant.
And we're also going to make a donation in your honor to the Mary Rick Neighborhood Center and the expansion of their food pantry on
Yes.
Indy's southwest side.
Brilliant.
So thank you again for
Of
joining
course.
us.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everybody, for coming downtown today and joining us. Our next meeting will be March 12th, is that correct?
Zoom. Our next
June,
meeting.
that'd be a long way
No,
away.
Zoom, and then the
Zoom,
Inner
March
Club
12th.
on March 5th.
Zoom, March 12th, Final Four representative. So we will see you then. If that, we are adjourned.